And a very happy Tuesday to you at 12:06 in the West. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wags in New Mexico.
John, it is election season in California, and we are 3 weeks away from November 4th when you will have your last opportunity to turn in your ballot, but people all have their ballots, and as of right now, 2.8% have been returned.
You know, I got home from vacation on Sunday night, and I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to fill out my ballot, and I'm going to put it in the mail tonight because I don't want to end up using it as a coaster. I don't want it to get accidentally thrown out. I didn't want it to go in a pile over in the other room, and I lose it, and I can't find it. I can't fill it out. I can't vote. I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to be a good boy, and I'm going to fill my ballot out, and I'm going to put it in the outgoing mail tonight. And I did that yesterday. And then yesterday evening, around 5, 6 o'clock, I was greeting a friend who was coming over for dinner. And she got here, and I turned and I looked at the mailbox, and the red flag was still up. And I start to curse my mailman out under my breath, thinking, he's the laziest SOB on planet Earth. How in the hell is my ballot not picked up? It's 5:30 in the evening. What is going on over at the post office? And then I thought to myself, oh, it's Columbus Day.
Well, Johnny, there are 23 million registered voters in California. That means 23 million ballots that are out there, and only 651,000 have been returned so far. 3% of Democrat ballots returned, 3.2% of Republican ballots returned, and those NARB party preferencers still love to not vote with only 2% turnout.
Okay, if you haven't voted yet, this will be the fastest election of your lifetime. It took me 2 minutes. 2 minutes to open it up, 2 minutes for me to fill in the bubble, 2 minutes for me to sign my name, write the date on there, print my name, and walk it out to the mailbox on a holiday and put it in the mailbox with the red flag up. That's all it took, was 2 minutes total. So if you want to vote, you can't complain this time around about all the judges and all the central committee races and all the things that you don't know anything about. It's one question and one question only.
If you're wondering about turnout by county, Los Angeles County currently has 2% turnout with 115,000 ballots returned out of 5.8 million. In San Francisco, it is a little higher, 26,000 ballots returned out of 530,000, so a 4.9% turnout. But the turnout currently in Alameda County is pretty fantastic, with 961,000 registered voters, 961,000 ballots, 194 have been returned.
I wonder if one of those belongs to Shang.
Absolutely.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Well, we know that Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has been a complete and utter disaster. That being said, you can't beat her unless you have a candidate to run against her. Rick Caruso is the man most people believe has the best chance at beating Karen Bass. However, he hasn't said whether or not he's running for mayor. In fact, he's made it publicly known that he's kicking tires on running for governor, too. And we're going to have to wait and see just exactly which race he decides to jump in, if any at all. All of that being said, Karen Bass has generated at least one challenger, the former superintendent of LAUSD, Austin Beutner.
And Austin Beutner launched his campaign yesterday with a 4-minute video that was mostly about his bio and nothing about Karen Bass or any of his policies. But he fixed that by going on with Fox 11 and Marla Tejas for an interview. Here is that interview.
Former LA Unified Superintendent Austin Beutner is making it official. He is running for LA mayor, and in his launch video, he takes aim at both Karen Bass and President Donald Trump.
I voted for Karen Bass last time. We had hopes, but now
He's got a real whistle going on.
Oh, yes. And he looks and sounds like my old dentist.
I voted for Karen Bass last time. We had hopes, but now even she admits we need a citywide turnaround. I agree, Los Angeles needs change. This isn't an ordinary time, and I'm not an ordinary candidate.
That was a lame video.
Great. We have Karen Bass as mayor. The city burned down. The city is broke. We have the Olympics coming to town that we're not prepared for, and we're going to run Ned Flanders against her.
Beutner says he will fight Trump's immigration crackdown and what he calls failures inside City Hall. And Austin Beutner joins me now live in studio to talk about your run for mayor. Congratulations on the launch today.
Thank you, Marla. Pleasure to be here.
Well, you yourself say that you voted for Mayor Karen Bass. Sounds like you're an ally. Did you reach out to her?
He did a fundraiser for her, too.
What the hell is wrong with him? Did he get brain damage when he fell off that bike?
I think he just broke his spine.
Ally, did you reach out to her prior to this announcement?
I didn't. But I've known Mayor Bass a long.
Hey, Karen, it's Austin. I think I'm going to run against you, okay? Call me back.
Yeah, well, don't wait up for that call.
Mayor Bass a long time. I supported her in the legislature. I supported her in Congress. I actually held a fundraiser for her at my house.
Is he falling asleep in the beginning of this interview?
I don't know about him, but the viewers are.
Okay, how old is Austin Beutner? I know Karen Bass isn't young, but how old is Austin Beutner? Because he sounds way older than I think he is. He's 65.
Yeah, he sounded like that when he first came on the scene. That's not an old thing. That's a low energy, a low T thing.
Karen Bass is 72. What happened to the time when mayors were a young person's job?
Yeah, well, that was a long time ago.
Legislature, I supported her in Congress. I actually held a fundraiser for her at my house. But the job of mayor is different than the job in legislature. And she said it recently, maybe said it best.
This is the first day of the campaign, and he sounds completely exhausted about it.
He ran for mayor before and didn't go anywhere. And he hired all of the old Obama people to run his campaign. And they fleeced him for a fortune, and he went off like a lead balloon. I don't think this guy is going to be the next mayor of Los Angeles, but there are a lot of campaign strategists and consultants who are going to get rich off of him.
Just weeks ago, she said we need a citywide turnaround. If you're running for a first term, that makes some sense. If you're running for a second term, that sounds like a report card. Our city's adrift. We're facing a city that's becoming every day less affordable, less safe, and a more difficult place to live. We got to get LA back on track.
Well, she sees it differently. She put out a statement after you made your announcement today. Let's put that up on the screen, and I'll read this to our viewers. It says,
Thank you, Marla, for us radio people. That's appreciated.
To our viewers, it says, let's move past divisive attacks and talk about
Divisive attacks? He barely mentioned her in the video.
This is about as soft of a launch as you can come up with.
and talk about accomplishments. When Karen Bass ran for mayor, homelessness and public safety were the top concerns of Angelenos.
And they still are.
Because she hasn't fixed any of those issues.
Actually, no, I would say they're not the top concerns anymore. The top concern for most people is Karen Bass going to let my house burn down next year.
And she has delivered in a big way. Today, homelessness has decreased 2 consecutive years for the first time in Los Angeles. Thousands of people have been moved off our streets and into housing. Violent crime is down across the city. Homicides have decreased to their lowest levels in 60 years.
Well,
to which you say?
Let's parse through that. First of all, not a divisive attack. I think we owe it.
Wait, so we're starting with the most pointless part of that whole statement?
I think we owe it to people who live and work in Los Angeles to have an open, cordial, but firm conversation about where we are.
You need to watch some wrestling videos, Austin.
Yeah, he could use a dose of Katie Porter.
Homelessness. I don't know about
That was a big one.
homelessness.
Jesse Jackson used to whistle like that.
Homelessness. I don't know about a point in time count that shows maybe a little dip. I know from LA Fire Department statistics that each year, Mayor Bass's term, responses or calls for people experiencing homelessness has gone up. That's truth. You can't fudge that data. That's truth. More and more.
Why wasn't this in the campaign ad? That's actually a very good point.
With his delivery, it almost doesn't even matter what point he's trying to make. No one is going to pay attention to him.
And this is something that could be very damning, but with the wrong messenger, nobody's going to pay attention. But yes, you can say all you want to your blue in the face, homelessness is down. But if the calls to the LAFD for all the fires started by the homeless keep going up, is the number of homeless actually down?
Here's the thing. When you are trying to find a candidate who can win an election, you have to look at it as if you're a casting director and you're trying to cast someone for a role in a movie. Anyone out there, any actor, any trained actor can memorize the lines and read the lines as written by the writer of the screenplay. The difference between an actor who can go out there and deliver the lines and an actor who can get people to buy tickets to go see the movie is star power. You have to have the right messenger. You have to have the right person reading those lines. Reading the correct lines is an admirable trait, but it's not good enough. And this guy understands where she has failed, but he's not going to motivate anyone to go out and vote for her. And if he's running against Donald Trump just as much as he's running against Karen Bass, why in the world would you get out of bed to vote for this fool?
Resources are going to serve people experiencing homelessness.
Also, I know that that's the style sheet that LASA put out, but you don't need to call them that.
Yeah.
Resources are going to serve people experiencing homelessness. I know that we're spending billions of dollars with no public accounting. The mayor's spending millions of dollars to fight our elected city controller who wants to come in and say, what have we spent money on? Are we getting impact?
Also a good point, but no one's paying attention to this messenger.
No, I'll tell you what else. He comes across as being completely disingenuous because he sounds like a guy who made a lot of money in business. He was what, an investment banker before he got involved in politics?
Yes.
Okay. My guess is if he's an investment banker, especially coming from that era where he probably made his money in the 80s and maybe even the 90s, he's probably a Republican or was a Republican back then. But because he lives in Los Angeles and understands that it's a one-party city and only a Democrat can get elected, he had to change his political affiliation so he could be the one in the room making the decisions. Well, okay, that's fine, but who do you expect to take you seriously? Do you expect Democrats to believe that you're one of them? Do you expect Republicans to believe, wink, wink, nod, nod, I'll run as a Democrat, but I'll give you what you want if I get elected? This is the Rick Caruso problem.
And I know from press reports that the city spent $25 million for a hotel 5 years ago that hasn't housed a single person. So let's have that conversation. Public safety. We know, and the facts will tell us, that crimes are being solved at the lowest rate in more than a decade.
Again, why was that not in the 4-minute campaign launch video?
The softest launch I've seen.
Barely 1 in 20 property crimes, meaning a burglary, gets solved.
By the way, that unsolved rate has gone up because when Gascon was trying to run for re-election, he said that 85% of property crimes aren't solved. And now this guy's saying it's 95%.
I believe it.
Barely 1 in 20 property crimes, meaning a burglary, gets solved.
Think about that. With all the home break-ins in places like Encino and Studio City, only 1 out of 20 somebody gets caught.
Well, and those are only the crimes that are called in. If you know nothing's going to happen, at a certain point, you just stop calling them in.
Only a bit more than 1/3 of violent crimes get solved. So don't tell me it's safer when the statistics tell us it's not.
Well, her statement, I'll let that speak for itself.
Yeah.
One of the issues that you do bring up in your campaign launch video is Palisades fire. You were personally impacted. You're still out of your home. Your home was severely damaged. Your mother-in-law.
That would be a good campaign video. Karen Bass burned my house down.
Lost her home. Was it really, is it fair to put all the blame, though, on Mayor Karen Bass?
No, but leadership, ultimately the buck stops with leadership.
Not if you're Karen Bass.
Oh, no. No, she's blaming the fire chief.
When we come back, Johnny, we'll hear what Beutner has to say about the fires, and we'll find out if he has any more energy.
If you'd like to call the show, you can do so at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. And if you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
Eric the Mailman writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Hey, cool John and hot Randy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I absolutely understand now why John doesn't shout out mail carriers in the intro. He's got a jaded mail carrier who he's had a bad experience with. We're not all lazy SOBs.
Absolutely.
I used to have a mail carrier that looked just like Shaft. Not anymore. If you missed yesterday's show and you want to find out just exactly what I thought about the Katie Porter interview, Randy, that's easy to do.
All you got to do is search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcast.
Get out of my shop.
Whether it's the Apple Podcast app,
I'm running for governor because I'm a leader.
iHeart,
I'm me.
Spotify.
I don't care.
Search for The John Phillips Show, hit subscribe, and you can download all the episodes.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Hey, Randy, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
Well, let's do that right now. 790 KABC welcomes Gino Vanelli to the Saban Theater on October 30th. Tickets on sale now at AXS.com, but right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-795-2222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by the Saban at the Canyon, where music meets the soul. Good luck dialing.
Coming up later on in the program, we're going to be joined by Eddie Scary. That's after the news at 2. And, of course, the Fix California Hour begins at 1. 800-222-5222 is telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Right now, we're going through the sound of candidate for L.A. Mayor Austin Beutner sit down with Fox 11's Marla Tejas.
Let's hear what Beutner has to say about the fires, which he had a house that got destroyed in the fires.
What do we know? Federal investigators told us last week it was a rekindle, meaning the fire wasn't properly put out. We know broken hydrants, a broken reservoir.
Wouldn't that be fire department?
Well, who does the fire chief?
Actually, it's the DWP.
Also under the umbrella of the mayor.
And Karen Bass's appointed head of the DWP, Janice Quinones, who makes $750,000 a year, which we should appreciate because it's less than she was making when she worked at PG&E.
Boy, that woman just has success everywhere she goes.
Wouldn't that be fire department?
Well, who does the fire chief report to? I think the mayor.
If you remember, the story that CBS LA uncovered was that there were thousands of fire hydrants in the city of Los Angeles that had been flagged for problems, whether it's vandalism, the homeless stealing pieces from them, or just not working. And the DWP somehow never got the list to repair them. And that included fire hydrants in the Palisades near the fire line that did not work, outside of the fact that the fire hydrants ran out of water.
And before you buy into their claim that they're broke and they have no money to do any of this, keep in mind that we have all the money in the world for the ambassadors and for the motels for the bums to destroy.
The mayor relieved the chief of her duties, really scapegoating her and saying the decision to not keep over 1,000 firefighters to continue to work on Tuesday. If it's that important a decision, I'd like to know, did the mayor talk about it with her fire chief?
And she was in Ghana.
Very important business.
And help make that decision. So I think it's a failure of leadership to say we weren't prepared when you don't have hydrants that work, you don't have trucks that work, you don't have a reservoir that works. Ultimately, the buck stops with the mayor.
Would you have handled...
Great message, terrible messenger.
Well, and where the hell was he before all this happened. She ran on federal issues. We had the opportunity to elect Rick Caruso, and this guy supported Karen Bass over Rick Caruso.
Would you have handled the Chief Crowley firing differently? Would you have kept her on?
Well, you get to a certain point. You make a series of errors or errors in judgment or preparation where that was a choice she was presented with. I would have made sure the fire hydrants work. I would have made sure that the reservoir was able to be used. I would have made sure that the trucks that the firefighters needed were able to be deployed. I would have made sure we pre-deployed crews. I would have been in a room.
How hard is it to just say, I wouldn't have been in Ghana?
Yeah, you can't run against her and not go for a bite at the apple. If you're going to run against her and you are going to use qualifiers for every criticism that you lob at her, that's not going to work. You just have to come out and explain to the people that she is awful, she has no interest in doing her job, and the city is suffering because of it.
With Chief Crowley talking about, okay, this is one of the greatest weather events we've ever seen. For 5 days, it's been on the news, it's been on Fox for 5 days talking about this.
See, there's another thing that you don't want to just brush over. Karen Bass saying that she didn't know it was going to be windy.
It wasn't just on Fox. It was on every single channel in Los Angeles, both radio and television.
Shouldn't we pre-deploy? Shouldn't we keep over the 1,000 firefighters to make sure that we're safe?
Let me ask you this. The elephant in the room here in the race, you're the first one to announce. And this, by the way, the election is in June.
Right.
You think of Palisades Fire, you think of Rick Caruso. He's got a lot of money. There is talk that he could announce a run for mayor. Do you have concerns about that? Are you prepared to run against him? Would you like him to enter the race?
I'm running because I think we have a crisis in affordability. People can't find housing.
So we're not answering that question?
Nope. This isn't going to work. I can tell you that right now.
That was a fairly simple question. And the worst thing that you can do as you're introducing yourself to the electorate is show that you won't directly answer a simple question.
No.
People can't find housing. We built the fewest number of housing units in more than a decade. I'm running because it's a more and more difficult place to live. I think those are the issues we need to be talking about. I think Rick Caruso's had a terrific career in business. I respect his success, and I think he'd make a terrific governor.
Terrific governor. Okay, and yes, he has alluded to that he could be running to lead the state of California. All right, we'll wait and see. Austin Beutner, thanks so much for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right.
There he is, Austin Beutner, the man who says he can take on Karen Bass in the sleepiest way possible.
Here's a question. If he were to come on this program, the first question I would ask him is this. You say you care about affordability. You say you care about fixing homelessness. You say you care about fires. You say you care about how poorly all of these departments are managed. It was clear from the moment that last campaign for mayor started that Rick Caruso understood all of that and she did not. I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not Tyler Henry. I'm not Sylvia Brown. And I could tell you that this woman was not equipped to do any of those things. And Rick Caruso spent his entire career demonstrating that he could do those things. Austin Beutner was reading the same papers we were. He was listening to the same radio programs we were. He was watching the same TV newscasts we were. He had all of the relevant evidence in front of him, and he chose Karen Bass over Rick Caruso. Why in the world, if you understand the failings of the city, not just in Karen Bass's administration, but this is going back to Eric Garcetti, Antonio Villaraigosa, and beyond, Jimmy Hahn. If you understand these things, why did you sign up for 4 more years of it? That's the part that makes no sense. It's one thing if she was running against someone who was worse than her, if she was running against a DSA candidate. or running against, I don't know, Nithya Raman, I could understand making the argument that she's the lesser of two evils. But in the last election, we actually had a choice. There was clearly a better candidate who had a grasp on all of these things. And this guy willfully chose the awful candidate. Now, I think he knows better, and he certainly demonstrated in that interview that he knows where the city has gone wrong. But if you understand how Karen Bass is deficient and you vote for her anyway, then why should we trust you with anything? If that's how bad your judgment is, why should we put you in charge of a 3-car parade? And I would also note that before becoming a candidate for office, this guy ran LAUSD. He got run over by the teachers union. Run over. He said he was going to stand up for taxpayers. He said he was going to stand up for students at LAUSD. And the union, of course, was looking out for their membership. And they rolled him like a Cuban cigar. Wasn't even close. That guy was no match for Cecily Mayart Cruz.
Nothing.
Well, guess what? If you're mayor, you don't have to deal with one union. You have to deal with a whole bunch of unions because that's who the city negotiates with. So what should we expect? That this guy's going to get run over by everyone? Why should we change horses at that point? At least Karen Bass would be termed out in 4 years. This guy could theoretically be there for 8. I don't get it. I don't understand why, if you're a rich person and you could be on any yacht in the ocean, you could be on any private jet, going to any exotic destination, you could be eating at the finest restaurants, you could be going to the most exclusive social clubs and country clubs. You could go to any concert you want to go to, any sporting event you want to go to, and you choose to spend your time being a candidate so you can be a tool for the Democratic Party. Why in the world would you do that? Makes no sense to me, but that's what this guy is choosing to do. He's not going to beat Karen Bass. He's not going to come close to beating Karen Bass. I think consultants talked him into this like they did the last time. And I think they're going to take this guy for a ride yet again. He may not even make it on the second ballot. But I'll tell you this. He's going to be putting his consultants' kids through school and probably paying for their third wife to get a breast augmentation surgery too. It's the John Phillips Show, the Fix California Hour, coming up after the news at 1. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. And right now it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And Randy, this edition takes us to the Metro.
You may want to consider not using the Metro.
And that's because someone got stabbed on it. For more, here's a report from Fox 11 in Los Angeles.
Deputies are looking for the suspect who randomly stabbed a person on a Metro bus in Southgate over the weekend.
Gina Silva joins us now live. This is a story you'll see only on Fox 11. Gina?
The other stations don't have the insurance to send reporters down there anymore.
Few do.
That's right. This is the area where that suspect got off the bus and then just took off running. He has not been arrested, and that is why authorities are out.
Usually we end the LA stories with that. We're starting with that.
Nice to mix it up.
And that is why authorities are asking for the public's help.
This is currently under investigation. And we are looking into everything that happened before, during, and after.
If you see somebody in South LA walking around with a bloody knife, Call the LAPD.
And keep in mind, when you think about yesterday's program, we talked about that bill that was just signed by Newsom that would essentially block cities and counties from saying no to big developments in single-family neighborhoods. The entire point of that bill is to push us into high-density housing and to get us out of our cars and onto the buses and onto the subways. They're not willing to make the buses and the subways safe, but they want to force you on them anyway, because that's how much they care about your safety.
A passenger aboard Metro Bus Line 117 was stabbed in the neck by what appears to be a total stranger.
Oh, great. It's not even a fight.
No, it's just a random act of violence.
It happened on Saturday around 5:51 p.m. at or near 3474 Tweedy Boulevard in Southgate. The attack was captured on surveillance video, but the Transit Services Bureau is not releasing the video or even a photo of the suspect who took off running.
Why wouldn't they do that?
Because then we might catch them, and they don't want that to happen.
I think Metro also doesn't want a video going out there of somebody getting stabbed on one of their trains.
No, because they deny, if you say those trains are violent and they're unsafe, they will deny it, and they will say that you are spreading right-wing tropes, that you're spreading conspiracy theories, that if you actually understood the statistics, crime is actually going down. Well, this is what they do when there is an unspeakable act of violence. They just try to hide it from you.
Investigators say they're not releasing the video yet because the case is still active.
We are actively requesting the help from the public to...
Okay.
We don't have a description of the suspect.
How does that make sense? We need help from the public, but we won't show you the video or the pictures of the suspect and give you any of the relevant information.
To reach out and contact the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Transit Services Bureau, Detective Division.
Metro officials described the incident as an altercation between two passengers, but an LA County Sheriff's Watch commander told Fox 11 News it appeared to be an unprovoked random attack.
This does not happen on a daily basis.
How is this that they can put this out with a straight face? We're not going to give you a physical description of the suspect. We're not going to show you a picture of them. We're not going to show you the video, but anyone with any information, please give us a call. And then they come out and they lie. They say that it was a dispute between two parties who knew each other, when in fact, if you press them one tiny itty-bitty bit, they fold and say, oh no, it was just a random act of violence.
Random attack.
This does not happen on a daily basis.
Captain Brian Jones with the LASD Transit Services Bureau says riding Metro is safe.
I don't know about that.
These people are a joke. They are a complete joke, and they're too dumb to even know that they are a joke.
But passengers should always remain alert and take precautions.
Just be aware of your surroundings. And if you can, ride with folks that you normally ride with all the time.
So what? You can all get stabbed together?
So there's someone there to call 911?
The victim is reportedly in stable condition. If you know anything about this case, you're asked.
We can't see the video, so how can we tell you anything?
Do they understand how dumb this is?
You're asked to contact the LA County Sheriff's Department. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Gina, this brings up the broader issue of safety when it comes to Metro. We were covering instances like these. It seemed quite a bit earlier in the year. Have things gotten better ultimately?
Well, the person that we interviewed said that this is just a one-off, is what he said. It doesn't happen.
Pretty sure we did another stabbing story in the Metro not even a month ago.
We do these stories all the time.
It doesn't happen that often, and that, it really is safe to ride the Metro. We hear from passengers as well who say they're concerned because they've seen some fights, things like that. Obviously, getting stabbed in the neck is extreme, and so it most likely does not happen often. But when it does, it is alarming.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'm going to tell you right now why Metro's not releasing that video. It's because, John, guess who's now in charge of LA Metro? Guess who's the new chair of the Metro board?
Who is that?
This guy.
I think we need to flood the market with some positive news whenever we get it. Because I guarantee it goes the other way whenever we get the bad news. So I think it's only fair that we spread the news.
Fernando Dutra is now the head of Metro, and Fernando Dutra does not like bad news about the Metro.
You know, I don't want to see bad things happen to people. But let me just say this. If you listen to this program, you have an accurate idea as to how violent the Metro is. If you don't listen to programs like this or newscasts like Marla's, and you listen to politicians that you vote for, and they tell you everything is safe, you should be well aware that they are leading you like your lambs to be slaughtered. They are willfully and purposely giving you inaccurate information to make you believe that you are safe when in fact you are not. And they are willing to roll the dice with your health and welfare by lying to you, because that's the politically correct thing to do. You can't say that it's a violent bus or a violent train or a violent MTA system, because that's not equity. So you have to just say what you know is a lie and make sure that everyone around you repeats it too. If you ride those buses, if you ride those trains, good luck, because you're going to need it.